Welcome everyone to another live stream here live from the virtual CES 2021. And one thing I wanted to point out, because obviously we are here not a advertising channel, but we reviewed some ThinkPads previously, not paid advertisements, just usually my opinion, and we found them quite good, even better than MacBooks. Also, I'm still rocking, as you have seen here, my personal 7-year-old in the meantime Retina MacBook Pro. But we reviewed because we need to change user serviceable parts and so on, open source support and no vendor login. And previously I found the Lenovo ThinkPads pretty amazing, had very few things to complain, and one of the few things that were imperfect, obviously they're quite good before, but previously they always had a super large chin here, bezel, and I always pointed out in all the videos, also probably Dell XPS and others, what we reviewed: pixel display screen real estate for professional users. I never quite understood this movie or TV, as movie could even be 21 to 9 or whatever, movie format, because most people also need to get work done, and in my opinion vertical screen real estate way more important than usually my lines of Excel and Word and code work are not that long, but your mileage may vary. Anyway, so to the point, CES 2021, amazing ThinkPad news, multiple options, 16 by 10 finally, here as in fine print pointed out, 14-inch UHD display options. Of course there will be multiple, so a really amazing thing, exactly what I called for a way smaller display bezel. So on a first glance, quite recommendable. I said it before, this look might get old, but I personally, although I never had a ThinkPad except the review units, because Intel and AMD, there was always you see here on this channel, I use my stuff until it literally falls apart. But previous reviews always like this: if I would had to buy something, then the last or previous years, that would have been what I would have purchased. And I waited a little bit because my Retina MacBook Pro not yet totally fallen apart. So for me, this design never got old. I still find it amazing. In contrast to the MacBook design, I find the aluminum, shiny aluminum stuff actually gets old. I find this black much more stealth, much more beautiful, but again, your mileage may vary. Really nice carbon options, and the only thing, Intel CPU, I think, I'm not sure if that is further announced yet. Intel Iris, also for us on Linux, yes, obviously AMD, but we will get to that also additionally, also AMD news. AMD, of course, usually, maybe in the meantime better. Previously, of course, Intel Mobile was quite energy efficient. For me, it's like, yeah, on the EPIC thread-ripping side, of course, here on our now liquid-cooled EPIC thread-ripping, but for mobile, it's okay. I wish they would have more AMD options, but if you desperately want that, for me, on the go, certainly battery life most important, and otherwise cloud, aka secure shell, logins and the like. In other news, that was not the only one. Let me just navigate here on the website. Why did this change due to zooming? Ah, there it is. We also have, all right, for this you don't have a PDF. This, I think, although yeah, there is a download PDF. It's like, yeah, I think this is also, if I remember this correctly, Lenovo Yoga Slim 7i Pro, maybe OLED option, not sure, something. Also 16 by 10, and lo and behold, which one was one of those? Was 3 by 2? Which one was that? Let me think. Was that the Pro Pad? Anyway, there is some. Where's this pad thing? One of them is allegedly 3 by 2. And maybe this, not sure. Oh, wait a second. I think this actually was 3 by 2. I take this back. Maybe this is 3 by 2. but which I always wish there would be an option for each of those, although I understand there cannot be like 7 SKUs, maybe 5 display SKUs already enough. Maybe this is 3x2, and another one is also 16x10, one of whatever, maybe this one. I could actually check that. Although sometimes it's not written directly and then you need to compute the aspect ratio yourself. So can we load this PDF? Let's see, yeah, 16x10. So there we have it. This is 16x10 and the other maybe 3x2. And there's also some ThinkPad Reality of virtual display goodness for those who are into that. I think this is not gaming, but yeah, virtual display, virtual monitors for those business virtual 2021. Obviously, and probably personally, looks as usual. Often it looks nice in concept, but in my first glance opinion, maybe more of a gimmick. I personally, if it's my money that I don't burn, then I would probably not invest into such gimmicks, because yeah, maybe I ask Lenovo if they want to send one over. Anyway, so that's the Lenovo news. Of course, there also some AMD stuff. The super interesting display options for our screen real estate, unfortunately so far only announced as Intel options, but maybe there will be more SKUs later on. There's also one thing that is not yet here, that is what was that named? Titanium, I think. Where did I navigate for that? Yeah, stories and whatnot. So yeah, there will be some titanium something. The press release are here. Probably that thinnest. It is a little bit funny that as usual PC websites, people complain about my website, and then this titanium allegedly the thinnest. I personally don't need the thinnest. You have seen this before. I rather have a full-size Ethernet jack. But titanium yoga, thinnest allegedly, maybe ThinkPad ever, X1 titanium, probably additional priced, touch and detachable. Ah, right, wait a second, this is this. This is why this. Anyway, you get the idea for those who are into that. In other news, there's not only Lenovo, obviously there's also LG. If you're into this LG Gramm laptop, they also have now a 16x10 design, aspect ratio, screen design, sleek new design. Previously, I didn't had them in my own hands, I think, but what I've seen previously last year was a little bit flimsy, although to their credit, you get quite some spec for the money. So if this is still the same construction, then quality, build quality and durability might be on the thin side, but that's probably what you expect from at least last year's. If this is still 16-inch, probably. I think, I'm not sure, do they have prices here? Maybe as usual not. So they are 16-inch and price USP something military standard, maybe the fingerprint reader, not the build construction. If the construction doesn't change from last year, then might be a little bit fragile. So if you handle it with care, probably enough. If you sometimes sit on it and stuff, then maybe a little bit, yeah. But if the pricing continues, probably good spec and screen real estate for the money. As amazing as I find this development of 16x10, because this is what I'm constantly asking for in previous years, Dell's like, yeah, 16x10 is nice, but what about some ultra wides? Like, yeah, we have here that for that. Leave in the comments below. Not really sure for me. This is a little bit like content consumption. Not really sure. Also $2,100, right, plus VAT. Personally, I don't find this really useful. Also, truth to be told, maybe if you have a classic 2-display setup, which I mostly only use for YouTube live streaming, I personally love to Alt-Tab to switch between stuff. I find this more efficient than changing focus point and refocusing or whatever. So for me, one display, less money spent, higher work efficiency, and also less money spent, less energy consumption, right? If you have 2 displays running the whole day for your 8-10 work hours plus video consumption or whatever, yeah, twice the energy. So if you desperately need that kind of screen real estate, maybe this ultra wide is for you. For me, not. Also, with these 2 displays, anyway, with field of work I'm in, if I need 2 displays like for testing other embedded systems, then I need a second display. So the ultra wide stuff is twice, not really for me. And also I wanted to point out, this really annoys me. I eventually need another display here for growing my own company and YouTube stuff, and I really want a 16:10 display. Actually, fun spoiler alert, so this old NEC display as seen previously, as well as this old Dell whatever display, they are both old garbage, but 16:10. My other main work display, unfortunately, Dell Ultra Sharp, previous blog post, 16:9 unfortunately, and I really miss those vertical pixels. And there is not a single HiDPI display with twice the resolution for ultra sharp text on the market. Not a single one. Leave in the comments below if you know any. There are a couple of 16:10, but only low resolution of 1920 by 1200 or something. I really wish someone would make the new 16:10 and 3:2 efficient work from home stuff style. You only get this, well, thankfully you get this more in laptops and certainly in Microsoft Surface Studio thing that is 3:2, which is amazing. I was actually considering, but the problem is I don't want the Microsoft Core i7 base thing there. So vendors or Microsoft, please someone make this Microsoft Studio display thing without the bloody outdated low performance Intel hub thing there, because I only need a display for my flexible screen use. So yeah, 16:10, 3:2 external displays, please, and high DPI obviously for sharp text. Last but not least, just live streamed AMD virtual keynote stuff there. For the most part, a little bit boring, of course, the usual advertisement there of partners, Microsoft, HP, and like slow talking of selling points that don't have much to do with AMD. But the new Ryzen 5000 series mobile stuff announced for 45 watt higher performance stuff. Of course, not unlike what we expected. The usual 18 or so plus % IPC plus other architectural improvements. So maybe 20 to whatever, 20 plus minus whatever workload you are in. And of course the ultra thin stuff that would actually be a quite nice fit to those ThinkPads that we just seen, right? So not really a surprise, just that eventually, wait a second, this is also, right, this was already rumored, I should shout this out. I really don't like this here. This is real, in my opinion. And there you see, we are not fanboys here of AMD or Intel's fame. Maybe SGI fanboys, but anyway, they don't exist in that form too much anymore. I really hate this here. This is real stupid. And I also don't understand what are big mega corporations doing. AMD just linked their numeric series there to be back in line of 5000 series for Zen 3, because previous, due to first announcing Zen 1 back 3 years or so ago, Zen 1 desktop, and then still shipping those older Core mobiles that were whatever, that was Bulldozer, whatever, something, and that wasn't Zen. So the first mobile Ryzen 1000 series were actually not Zen, and due to that, up until last, or actually this year, this generation, this is why the desktop Zen series made a jump from 3000 to 5000 to get this in sync, so that, because previously the mobile was always 1000 offset, and so they just synced this, right, to have 5000 series clearly as a label for Zen 3, and then they make this. What the heck are they even thinking here? Zen 2 AMD. I mean, are you freaking kidding us? I mean, I understand they want to sell all last year's silicon still like hotcakes, but syncing this 1000 number steps there for those SKUs to make sense and then mixing here the Zen 2 into that. Total confusing, totally. So this is all, you can't even say this is you, right? You not like H is at least high performance, something Zen 3, but no, this U is also. So this is a complete madness. I have no words. This is actually, I also want my 2021, I hope I get my Wayland based hotkeys back for OBS, because previously, since we migrated previous video from Xorg to Wayland, now I have no hotkeys for OBS. Anyway, so yeah, this a shout out of, be careful what you're sourcing there, because it might be Zen 2, not that it's totally bad, just it's last generation's silicon, and it's probably not necessarily what people want. What is this, by the way? Cache. All right, it might be, so you see this probably a little bit on the cache. You can't see this on the number, but on the cache, the new Zen 3 have a little bit more cache there. So that might be one easy indicator of if you get less than 16 meg of cache or something on those mobiles. But anyway, really stupid, really annoying, but anyway, that's probably it. What do they say? 16% more single. I said 20 plus minus 18 IPC, but what is it? Here they have 23, so I don't stand corrected. This is 20 plus percent plus minus still. H series. The problem is that this is probably some Zen 2 there. So 16% Zen 2 and 23. Just as I said, 18% IPC plus minus some cache and other. So 20, 23 in real world plus minus, give or take, something of that sort. Anyway, I'm most thrilled of the display options. I hope this trend continues, because most people obviously need to get stuff done and can't consume videos all day long. And for watching videos, the argument was always, but the black bars and letterbox and whatnot. But like, seriously, how much time in your life do you spend watching movies, and does it matter whether there's a freaking black bar or if you zoom in and lose a little bit of cropping on your video? Both things is like, YOLO, whatever. I just rather have smaller bezels and more pixels to work with all day long when I'm not watching movies. Anyway, that are the highlights of CES 2021 today. Certainly there is more random gadgets and whatnot. If there's something major scrolling by, I might give it a dedicated shout out. I hope you found this news interesting and learned something. Let's see, a quick look to the comments. Then Jamerican, thanks for calling out the Zen 3 5000 mobile chips. And Holland, at least they're not trying to tell you it's what they mean. Want to buy a ThinkPad one, but can't upgrade memory myself. Yeah, this is a trend. Although on other ThinkPads you still have some user serviceable memory, at least you still have some SSD, and that is certainly like the Apple SKUs, but at least you have a lot of other stuff to user serviceable, better keyboards, a track point, and more ports, and so on. And hey, they are black, right? Black Pro stuff. At least they're not lying, tell you it's, this is, now I got, should also read the comments in full. Yeah, well, I mean, it's a little bit false advertising. I mean, they are, in my opinion, it's like half lying, because which user, it's like half lying, and can you half lie? It's half lying and half false advertisement if you have some 5000 series for Zen 3, and then like not always, it's a little bit, a little bit on the edge of false advertising, in my opinion. And I really wish, as I said, I was just happy they got this numbering and then like the next product they announced is like, YOLO, whatever, we don't stick to that and want to sell some last year stuff. The reason, of course, they have some production running, and last but not least, but one more last thing, what I called out before, rumors are AMD is just heavily backordered. Everyone wants their silicon, just like here and there. Obviously, now even took me quite some months to source, and we are business, right? Even my business took quite some efforts to get hold on an 5950X. Took me nearly a month or so, and then even to a €999 market value price. And the same with previous video, Microsoft, Xbox and Sony PlayStation, so which AMD also produces this SoCs for, plus all the thin and ultralight laptops and also PC vendors there of ThinkStation and whatnot, Hewlett Packard and so on fame. So everyone wants their chips, and market industry rumor is they just can't produce as much as the stuff sells off the shelves. So this is probably you can't switch silicon production that fast. So if they have stuff running on a slightly older process and so on, this is probably why they just want to sell this proven stuff. The new stuff always lower yield and higher demand and so on. So this is probably why they need to mix this. And then it's just, of course, people don't, and this is also why, coming back full circle here, in my opinion, it's a little bit false at like 50% false advertising of, it's like, yeah, people want the latest and greatest AMD 5000 series, and then it's like, nah, not really the latest and greatest. So nah. Anyway, so yeah, that's it now for this video. Really leave me in the comments below what display sizes are you a fan of. Do you appreciate any other vertical or smaller display bezel, and how much processing power do you need? Personally, there is also previous videos, this Nano X1 or what that was. Probably personally I might not get this, because honestly, as amazing as this, we probably can go there to this Nano whatever. This is also news, probably not use. And I will probably get this 16 by, actually the Nano was also 16 by 10, right? I will anyway get the larger one because I'm just more productive. I have here this previous video, Sony Vario P, that is of course decade old Intel Atom. But if I actually, also there is some fold thing, which also, nah, of course you will probably not be that productive with this folded keyboard. This is why I didn't shout it out, because yeah, also this is the wrong website, because some others. And last but not least, I need a full-size keyboard and so on. So for me, it makes no sense to spend more money on a Nano thing. If I need something very Nano, then I can take my decade-old Sony Vario P. And also actually 1400 something is not too bad. But again, really think through, if you are after this, although this is not as tiny as the Sony Vario P, it might still be okay, but of course, yeah, you pay premium for super thin and light, and probably that is something to consider for spend a little bit less productive for something in terms of CPU power, although, and even with the development of mobile web and cloud stuff, what is okayish today might already be quite less snappy tomorrow in terms of latest Chrome, Firefox and website bloat of using the latest and greatest features, animations and blending and whatnot. So yeah, overspending for something super nano thin and light might not necessarily be the very best choice. But there you have it, a lot of 16 by 10, even this Nano. And if you need something new, although I think all the stuff is just shipping from February, March, April, or the summer, so unfortunately might still be some time, so a little bit more time to hold off. But there are the options, probably the best options, ThinkPad in general. And I hope you found this useful.